We've also got Mohan of WWIL now joining us in the phone line. The stock has seen a large surge coming in on huge volumes after the cabinet has okayed cable digitization. Mr. Mohan, what are you making of this ordinance finally being passed? Thumbs up from the industry?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's a very positive development. It was long overdue, and finally it has come. So now we would be moving from this analog regime to much awaited digital regime in cable. So it's a very positive development.
Mr. Mohan, in terms of subscription revenue and, of course, carriage fee, what is the kind of impact you're expecting? So if you can give us a number that we could expect in terms of growth on that subscription revenue going ahead.
See, the subscription, basically we should divide into two parts. One are the pay subscription revenue, and the second part is the revenue from the value-added services. Now, so the TV subscription revenues are concerned because of the skewed distribution model which is there in the analog, which will now transfer into a digitally structured revenue model. So we could possibly expect a hike of 5 to 6 times minimum. That is for the part of pay TV subscription. And when it comes to the other value-added services, now, most of services can be delivered on cable because there is no spectrum constraint or no spectrum shortage in digital regime. So from value-added services such as movie on demand and then broadband, internet, and now HD channels coming in, that's also an important source of revenue. So that revenue will also come in. So all this would contribute, according to me, minimum of 5 to 6 times jump in the subscription revenue.
Mr. Mohan, what is the sort of investment you're looking to make? Because I recently read an article you were looking to make huge investments to build a roadmap ahead of this much anticipated ordinance. And now that's come through, what is the sort of plans on the investment front?
No, the investment, of course, are needed because it's a huge transformation from analog to digital. So per se, I would say that the entire cable industry, if you see, the total investment would be needed in the range of, I think, between 18,000 crores to 20,000 crores, and whatever our roadmaps are or our project plans are, we would also be making our investments accordingly. The important thing from investment perspective I would like to point out is, I don't know whether this ordinance or this cabinet meeting has also taken up the issue of increasing FDI. So that is also important because now the fragmented or unstructured regime is going to end, and instead of that a structured model is going to come in cable. So the increase in FDI, because the investing community in the foreign investing sector, they are also keenly looking for that. So once the government come out with the FDI policy in accordance with the TRA recommendations, that would help to augment the resources which are required for digitalization.
Mr. Mohan, sir, I was just hearing you there, and you said that there could be almost a 5 to 6 times kind of an increase in subscription revenues. Over what period of time? How many months or quarters, or are we talking about, this is a sort of longer drawn out process?
It will happen overnight. It will happen in phases. As and when we go along in the first phase, second phase. So this would happen accordingly. See, one of the important complaint of the DTH sector was that because of the analog sector, and the legacy issue, their ARPU was very low.
Sure.
So once the digitalization steps in the cable sector also, now that complaint would also work. So the overall ARPU of a customer is going to increase in the digital regime. But of course, this will not happen overnight. It will take time. As and when the implementation goes along, the improvements will continue to come.
So, Mr. Mohan, sir, let's just take the example in terms of WWIL and what it could mean for you. If you could give us a breakup of your revenues, if at all you were getting some part of that revenue from analog, how that's likely to change, and then how will your own subscription revenues change over the course of the next 2 quarters?
Oh, the implementation itself is from March 2012, that is April 2012. So this will not impact this year's revenue. These are the projections or the investments which are forecasted for 2012-2013.
Okay, so next financial year, we should really start seeing the bumper of the numbers start to come through.
Time in any manner is needed in order to implement this entire system.
Okay, and last quick question, what is the availability of set-top boxes and their pricing like? Because that's the one issue which cable operators keep raising time and again, whether so quickly they'll be able to meet the demand.
So what is the set-top boxes is concerned, there are so many overseas manufacturers. We were waiting for this kind of policy announcement from the government. So now, since this announcement has come, and still there is a time lag of 6 to 8 months in the actual implementation. So they have planned out their inventories accordingly, and now they will be able to channelize all this what is required for manufacturing of set-top box. So I don't foresee, so far as the STB availability is concerned, as a kind of constraint in implementing that. The only thing that I would like to point out here is that as a task force member, which was constituted by the government for implementation of cable digitalization, we had recommended certain incentives in the form of custom duty concessions which are required for STBs and the taxation rationalization on this sector. Because at the moment both entertainment tax and service tax are levied on this sector apart from the VAT on the this STB, etc., which cumulatively amounts to about 45% to 50%.
Right.
So once these two things come in, I think the implementation would take place at the scheduled time.
All right, Mr. Mohan, we'll leave it on that.